everybody. Welcome to the Laughing Plays morning news update. Although today we're doing a Star Wars Celebration takeover because today was day 4 of Star Wars Celebration in London, which is still called part of Europe. And joining me to talk about that, we have Benji over there, our
Hi.
CEO, and Michael Celestino, who's the Boss Pod, our Star Wars expert.
Konnichiwa! See, I'm learning already.
Good job. Although I don't know what time it is. It might be konbanwa, but I'll accept it, or Ohio gozaimasu. Anyway, we're here, and if you're wondering why we're speaking Japanese, stay tuned. Where did you guys want day 4?
We lost you there for a second, Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to start?
The Bad Batch was the big one.
All right,
in the
Bad
morning.
Batch.
But so I mean,
Boom.
now I will say this is like if you haven't finished the Bad Batch, don't pay attention to what we're saying.
Yeah.
But
Also,
so
don't watch the live stream this morning.
If you ever just need to get the shortcut to making a panel like get a fan reaction is just have a voice actor do the voice. And since D. Bradley Baker performs like 47 characters in this series, that they did a lot of that.
They did not, however, do like a staged reading like they did last year, which was awesome. I was fully expecting that to happen again, but they did not do that.
And I guess the big reveal is that we're getting a 3rd season, which is good because it ended on a cliffhanger. But it's also the final season.
Correct.
Which, who knows? I've been to a lot of Star Wars final seasons, with Rebels and Resistance, and there's always a sort of bittersweetness to it. Yet they always end up making another series, which I hope they continue to do here. There's obviously when you're dealing with sort of a story like this, there's only so long it can be before it catches up to, other storytelling where you're going through way too many hoops to have to do anything. But I'm curious to see where this leaves us, but also what it leads to. Hopefully.
As they mentioned on the panel, also like even if the Bad Batch never returns as a show, the characters can certainly pop up in other media like they are now with Rebels characters showing up in Ahsoka.
Yeah, one of the things between Ahsoka and all this stuff, it's like it doesn't. And I guess Book of Boba Fett was kind of the personification of this, but it's like it does. I don't know why they bother titling it. Just say next installment of Star Wars, because the characters and the stories are so intertwined that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But that was they talked a lot about their favorite moments, but there wasn't a whole lot of, I would say, earth-shattering reveals or anything that surprised us. Obviously, they talked about the gut punches.
Right, it was mostly a look back, and then they did show the teaser trailer for season 3, excuse me, but I don't think it's been released yet, right? So only the people in that room have seen that, and it did have Ian McDiarmid as Emperor Palpatine, and Ming-Na Wen is also coming back as Fennec Shand to the show.
And then we also got the second big panel was Star Wars Visions.
Yeah,
which is the anthology series. The first volume was all Japanese animation studios. This year, they're going to animation studios from around the world, including this shot from I Am Your Mother from Arteman Studios, the Wallace and Gromit animation studios.
Mm-hmm.
We actually saw this short. So Mike, as a Star Wars expert, what did you think?
It's really fun. I mean, I love Aardman. I own the collection of all the Wallace and Gromit shorts on DVD, and love Chicken Run and the Pirates one that they did. So I'm a big fan of that animation studio, and I think it's a great choice for them to do a Star Wars short. It is very much in the tone that we are used to from Aardman. It's very funny. It's heartwarming in parts. It's touching. It's about a mother-daughter relationship, but it's also got some action in it. It's about a race, and it has a tremendous amount of Star Wars Easter eggs. Like, I was trying to keep track of all of them in the background, but it's like one every other second, basically. So somebody, probably me, will end up having to make a list of all those that pop up there, because they really jam-packed it with stuff.
One thing I think was interesting too, I mean, sort of inside LP a little bit, is you're obviously looking at this from from a Star Wars perspective, whereas Tony's messaging me and he's excited about some of the animation studios they're working with and looking at it from an animation perspective. So it's kind of neat way for both fandoms, although there's certainly overlapping fandom, to kind of meet each other in this world. I mean, you'll be introduced, Star Wars fans may be introduced to animation studios they're not familiar with, and animation studios will be introduced to, not that they haven't heard of Star Wars, but we'll get a little different take on it.
Yeah, it's interesting in that way, because these stories don't necessarily take place within the current Star Wars canon. They're kind of outside the timeline, which is, it's a fun way to be able to play with, do whatever they want. So I don't know, from other people that I've talked to, occasionally they will be uninterested in this concept because it has no effect on what's going on in the rest of the Star Wars universe. But as a film fan, as an animation fan, it is an interesting approach to be able to hand over the keys to the franchise without affecting the bigger picture, by having all these different artists from around the world take a stab at the iconography and the character archetypes that you would find in Star Wars storytelling.
I got a vent. If you're not willing to watch, it makes no sense, because if you're not willing to watch a project because it's not canon, do you only watch Star Wars? Because it could just be a good show on its own. Without, not everything needs to be canon. I love canon. I love the bigger world that they're creating, especially now, as we mentioned earlier, overlapping storylines. And I love that. But it doesn't mean someone can't make a great cartoon and on its own and it not be canon. Do you really want Artemis animation to be canon? I don't think so. But it doesn't mean we can't have fun. Do you not watch the Lego stuff? I don't get it.
Reminds me of Bob's Burgers episode with Tina. Non-canonical. So yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. The first one had some fun ones. This looks like it'll probably be a little bit more interesting, just because of the diversity of the animation studios. So
yeah, and not just in terms of globalization, but in terms of just style too. Obviously you have some that look really intense, and then you have some that are just lighthearted and fun, and you never, the nice thing is if you just sort of watch it in order, you don't know what you're going to get. You're not going to, you don't know what sort of an anthology. It is an anthology, but that sort of mystery of what kind of tone am I going to get? It's kind of fun.
I am excited, and that's coming out May the 4th. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like we might be overusing May 4th. There's only so much you can do on one Star Wars day. We start doing 25 days of May the 4th, for Christmas now.
Well, Disneyland is doing Star Wars month. So Geo asked if all the Visions episodes are dropping at once. And yes, like last year, they're all dropping on I don't remember if it came out on May the 4th last time, but it will be this year. Yeah, entirely.
So you want to talk about the big sort of recap closing ceremony?
Yeah,
watch this together.
Yeah,
sure.
Let's do it.
Play it.
Let's do this. We will gather together again in 2025 in Japan. Wait to see you all there.
Yay! Look at all these people who are ready to go to cross the Pacific.
So I got a question. So I remember in Star Wars Celebration Anaheim when they announced that people was going to London, people were a little disappointed because it's not as accessible as going to Chicago if you're U.S. based. There's some people that just international travel is just not in the cards for them. Although everyone here is basically American.
That's true. There were a lot of Americans.
What was the reaction like in the room?
It was positive, but I'm probably on the mixed side of positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, people who having to come to travel to Japan to the point I don't think they were expecting it to come back to London
Yeah.
Either. So
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
like
I would
here,
say,
yeah, no matter where it's going to be, it's not going to be,
positive.
you know, it's not going to be Birmingham, but is Mike frozen for you too,
It could
Kyle?
be Birmingham. I just assumed it was me, so I was being quiet.
Okay. So I guess that's.
But I think that's pretty cool. Japan. I mean, I'd instantly more excited to go if I was going to go. 20th is in there on April 20th, like 2 different years. So maybe that's just my thing. Is go. It's cherry blossom season, so
Yeah.
thumbs up on the timing.
Yeah. So make sure those hotels are extra expensive.
Not really. It's not so bad. You can find some definitely affordable things in Japan. Mike's gonna stay at a capsule hotel. He already told me.
Oh, yeah. Good.
What? I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a capsule hotel is?
I'm guessing it's very small.
It's it's a literal capsule. I think I'll need you to Google it, and I hope you're not claustrophobic.
And they sell
Fair
underwear.
enough.
I've never been in a morgue.
Yes, but not where they put the corpses.
Yeah, they don't come with AC. Don't worry. So, Mike, as a you know, you've been to a lot of celebrations. What's your take on this one? Oh, Gio. Well, before we get to that, they have done Japan before. It was a bit ago. Let me see if it says what year it was. It's on my shirt someplace.
Thank you, DJ Elliott.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a bit. Oh, so it doesn't say the year. It says Star Wars Celebration in Japan. I want to say it was 2004, but I could be wrong.
To answer your question, I thought, you know, I always have fun at these things. My biggest problem was the venue. It was just really, the layout was really bizarre and it was tough to get around, mostly because of the crowding, but also some of the distances to walk between panels was really, really long. But yeah, otherwise, you know what? The other thing I would say is like the crowds were enthusiastic, but they didn't go completely nuts like you would see in the US. I think that the British fans are a little more muted in their, you know, more polite in their responses to things. But other than that, I really had a blast, as I always do.
You know, I didn't like the venue. I thought the venue is oddly laid out. It might make sense to somebody, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And the spaces are smaller. I think it's safe to say, the theaters.
Yes.
But I did like the fan positivity, and I don't know if it's just the setting or just it's a better, you know, just a better time to be a Star Wars fan. But there wasn't I didn't hear anyone really complain about the state of Star Wars. Like I've heard every Star Wars celebration since I've been to Celebration 3.
I feel like I don't encounter that at Celebration.
I do. I did every. I mean, it's like it's usually waiting in line for food. Maybe they're just hangry, but like, it's like I don't care. You know, this is like it's always like this isn't real, right? Like you don't need to act all biblical about it. Just like have fun. You know, I always tell the story where just someone will just say like, well, you know, they're talking about something that Star Wars did, like, well, that's not what really happened. And you're like, no, none of this really happened. This is all just make believe. Hate to break it to you.
Yeah. But as I'll, you know, like I said on Friday, I tend to judge Celebration by whether I'm more excited about Star Wars as a franchise at the end. And I think I definitely am. I really like where things are going. And yeah, I have nothing but hope for what's coming up in Star Wars. So it's pretty exciting for me.
Would you call it a new hope?
It's a very old hope for me.
It's the old Republic hope.
Yeah. It's a hope that has sometimes paid off and sometimes not.
I'm excited. You know, I mean, there's no question Star Wars is slowing down. and I'm not against that. I mean, I like having more Star Wars, but I think we've reached a point where, you know, if it's too much to kind of even process, it's not special. You know, it's like the Christmas every day syndrome. So
Right.
like I like that basically we're gonna have, you know, Mandalorian will go to basically till the end of this month, right? And
Yeah.
then we'll have May 4th, and then we'll basically get to recalibrate a little bit. I mean, there'll be Star Wars news and everything, but until August. And you know, it kind of makes it's not just like Mandalorian bleeds into Ahsoka, which bleeds into the, you know, the new Star Wars show, new episode every week. I don't know if that's sustainable, and I don't want it to burn out. You know, I feel like, you know, especially, I mean, obviously we may watch everything all the time because it's part of our job, but also, you know,
Yeah.
but a more, you know, the casual fan that you need to kind of win, you know, make this pay all these very expensive projects off needs a break every now and then.
I will point out, though, that at the end of this month, we are getting a probably 40+ hour Star Wars video game that everyone's really psyched for. That will maybe occupy a lot of that time between Mando and Ahsoka for me.
And that's great. It's great that during your off time you can play 40 hours while, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, Wednesday morning getting out.
Right.
Well, you ready to talk some non-Star Wars for a moment?
Yes, always.
You don't sound very excited about it. Well, I'll take this one. This morning, we already knew Rogers the Musical was coming to DCA. Today, we got a premiere date as well as some new details about it. So it's going to premiere June 30th. They're still building this as a limited time run. We don't have the exact dates of that yet. It's going to be about 30 minutes long, and it's going to have 5 original songs written specifically for this production, in addition to 2 you guys already know: Save the City, which we first heard in Hawkeye, and Star Spangled Man, which goes all the way back to Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yeah,
So what do you think,
time
Benjamin?
Alan Menken had a song inside the Disney park. But I'm excited because like I was kind of concerned that they were going to go like in a whole new direction with this and not just give us what we like. I want this to be total fan service. I don't need this to be, you know, someone's bold new vision. I'm glad we're getting Save the City. I'm glad we're getting, you know, Star Spangled Man. It wouldn't feel right without those. And 30 minutes seems like the right length. You know, for a theme park show anyway. You know, I know it's shorter than some of the other shows that have been in that theater, but you know, some of those have also kind of dragged in the middle. So, you know, it seems like this is sort of
30 minutes and 5 to 7 songs is exactly what I predicted, but I'm going to have to listen back to Disney Coast to Coast to see if that's accurate.
That's pretty amazing, but good job, Kyle.
Thank you. It also says
it's interesting. It's not a 7-day-a-week show. It's only running Tuesday through Saturdays, most weeks, whatever that means. And then it's not starting till June 30th, which, you know, obviously this may have come together late, and I'd rather them wait than rush it. But at the same time, you know, usually Disney's summer stuff usually starts at the end of May or beginning of June at the latest.
So that was interesting. It says Captain America, Peggy Carter, Nick Fury, and select members of the Avengers. So I wonder, do we get the Ant-Man that's just wearing like a T-shirt with a Pym Particle logo? Or
I hope so, right? It would be kind of, I mean, it makes no sense in the timeline, but whatever, right? Who I've seen on Broadway, actually. That actor. I was like, I watched, I think it was Pretty Women, the musical on Broadway. And I spent the whole stupid musical trying to figure out why I recognize that guy.
Disaster.
Alex is telling me I saw him something else, but
I also the original Ramesses in Aida. Adam Pascal?
No, not Adam Pascal. Oh. The other guy, the Ant-Man guy. And I was wondering where I knew him from, and then like I pull it out and he says Hawkeye, and I was like, oh, you're the Scott Lang that doesn't look like Scott Lang. Yeah, that was clever. Was that you, Kyle?
Of course that was me.
You know, we have other clever people.
I know it doesn't quite work, but that's actually how I titled the document when I was working on the article with Tony, was Rogers. I had a date, and then I'm like, oh, I could just tweet that.
Someday we're gonna do an article about just what Tony names our documents. Because
some of my favorites from Celebration were Og Soka.
Because I'm
August for
August.
Ahsoka. Yeah.
That was there was another good one. What was it? It was that same day. I don't remember. And then we also got
a trailer for Peter Pan and Wendy.
Yeah, which literally dropped during a studio's press conference, which always drives me crazy. It's like, where do you want my attention? But that dropped during the Visions press conference. But
they're smart. They do that.
Well, I mean, it's probably the right call, but at the same time, it's just kind of like every time.
It's only been a month since the last one. I had to check to see if it was actually new.
Well, the movie's coming out in just about 18 days, so a little more than 2 weeks. A lot going on around Disney. And it looks like, we don't have coverage, but I guess maybe we do. I guess one of the Epcot barges is gone. Harmonious barges, so that's a good sign.
Apparently,
according to Doobie, he says.
If only we had people in Florida and California to cover these stories.
Yeah, well, California, Florida. I presume Doobie put in to do because he had pictures, but I don't know where he put the pictures. In any case, what you eating?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it in to do yet because I'm doing this.
This is my dinner of
anyway. Yeah, let me see if I can get those.
Is that? Did you bring that from America, or do they sell jelly bellies? Okay.
We did buy that and bring it to America, to Britain, to Great Britain. The wonderful foggy one.
I imagine they sell jelly beans here because of the whole Harry Potter thing. Hi, Doobie. Do you have pictures to share? Bye, Doobie.
I have one picture I'm pulling up right now.
What's your highlight, Mike, of Star Wars Celebration? As you freeze.
I just put the picture. The pictures are in the private chat.
I heard you.
What was your highlight?
My highlight of Star Wars Celebration was being in the room when they announced the actor who will be playing Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn, in live action, because that's a moment I've been waiting for 30 plus years.
So I have a question about that. Grand Admiral Thrawn obviously is really big in the EU, and he's been brought into Star Wars Rebels, and they have a book deal. I get that. What about him makes him resonate with Star Wars fandom to such a degree?
It was really the first time that we saw an Imperial officer who was good at his job, who was like a military strategist who was very smart. I mean, he's the Sherlock Holmes of the Star Wars universe. I think Timothy Zahn has made no secret that was the inspiration for that character. He even has his own Watson, who's a different character in both the canon and expanded universe. But I just really like how cool and calm and collected he is, and how he's a pragmatist and is really only helping the Empire because it's strategically beneficial for him and his society. It's just he's just such a cool character, literally and figuratively. Yeah.
And have you read all three of the new trilogy books? I mean, the new Zahn books. They hold up.
So he's actually done 3 Thrawn trilogies now. There was one in the EU, and then 2 in the new canon. And they're all really, really good. I recommend all of them.
Great. So
let's look at barge photos.
It's kind of hard to see a picture of something that's not there, but I guess Guess there's one less taco.
Here's the ones that are.
Shrinkflation.
Stargate still there.
Yeah, I guess they're
So
probably
yeah,
gonna-
making progress. They did say phased removal, and they meant it.
well, I mean, takes time. Takes a lot of time to make these dreams come true.
Yeah.
So I guess our next big thing that we're covering is
Well, anyway, I think we're probably back to normal. Sorry, my internet sucks.
we got a big event we're covering on Wednesday, which is the birthday of Disneyland Paris, and we're expecting some announcements coming out of that. So we'll probably go live after that happens. But we've been a little busy here, so we don't fully have a site schedule yet because I didn't get to it.
Fair enough. It's hard to get ahead when you're 5 hours ahead.
Well, this has been early mornings and late nights here at Star Wars Celebration London.
Yes.
And the jet lag didn't help anything, but Jeremiah's going to be here in Paris on Wednesday, and we'll have more to talk about.
Yes, and maybe we'll do as he was asking if he should bring his gimbal, so we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get.
Why wouldn't you just bring the gimbal? You guys just bring the gimbal. No one ever. It's not. It's like this big. Just bring it.
That is what I advised, for the record. So yes, maybe we'll get a walk and talk out of him from the gorgeous Disneyland Paris. But yeah, keep an eye. Make sure you subscribe.
That's gonna be my new hashtag. Bring the gimbal.
Next T-shirt, along with Moms Love Soren and whatever else we have. Be sure to follow Laughing at Laughing_Place on Twitter, Instagram, and ring the bell for notifications so you know whenever we go live right here on YouTube. And we'll see you all a little later, whatever that means.
That's a ghost.